Hello, everyone. Hi. Can everyone hear me? Is everything working? All right, awesome. Hi, I'm Isa and I'm in marketing at Aave, and welcome to our 4th community call. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We're very excited to have the Avagachi team joining us as well. So without further ado, I'll hello. Hi. Can everyone hear me? Is everything working? All right, awesome. Hi, I'm Isa and I'm sorry, I think okay, I'm back. All right, without further ado, I will let Stanny take it away.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to our community call. So this is the 4th one. It's quite actually interesting because we started this community calls beginning of this year when we launched the Aave protocol, and the journey has been quite interesting in the sense that how much traction there is. And also like all the action that is happening now in Aave, in the ecosystem, and basically also in the whole DeFi and beyond DeFi space. And the whole idea about the Aave ecosystem is that we're able to create a place where everyone can contribute in permissionless fashion. So basically, you can create different kinds of projects within the ecosystem, either related directly to Aave somehow using our technology, or just building something new and something that is very interesting and innovative. And yeah, and one of the idea of the community calls is also kind of like allow everyone to get more in touch with the team. So the Aave team itself isn't like pretty much like the main focus point in Aave ecosystem in the future. I mean, we're basically one entity, part of everything that is happening around. And since the beginning, when we launched the protocol this year, we kind of like didn't expect the growth that we currently have. So it has been substantial. And in the current moment, I think we have roughly 1.5 billion worth of value locked in the smart contracts. And since the beginning of this year till this date, I think we have roughly over 500 million worth of flash loans as well to this date. So it's been pretty impressive. And it also means for us that we kind of have to focus on the governance way sooner and put more significance into that particular subject. And I mean, we always have been a community project in the sense that we always listen what the community wants and try to deliver and build things that are actually needed, and kind of like not to have too much thinking of kind of in that sense. But I think we're now in a point that the stakes are really high, and we just think that the project has to be governed by you, by everyone, us, and part of that it allows also kind of like perfectize the product that we have, and create different kinds of components that are needed in the ecosystem. And this is basically part of the token economics that we have, and the governance update from the Lend token to the Aave token, and the vote itself. So for the token kind of like a migration update, the main functionalities were related to this, using the token as a way to protect the protocol. So in essence, the token economics work in a way that we have depositors, liquidity providers, and DeFi as a space is very risky, and in terms of like smart contract risk and that kind of stuff, and also in terms of like liquidations and assets. And as you are using your tokens to make different kinds of governance decisions, for example, different risk parameters, you're actually doing those responsible decision making, and because of that, you're able to bear the risk of the protocol by staking into the safety module and ensuring the protocol for the depositors. And this is like very vital in the sense, if you look into the adoption, it's very difficult to build secure systems. They take years and years to be built. And if you want to get adoption, we have to have some kind of insurance. And in essence, the Aave token is the kind of like a collateral of last resort, kind of like equity that is basically going behind of the idea that we are creating safe products, and we take the responsibility as a community of building those and deploying those products. And this allows us to actually kind of compete, and also take the advantage of getting more mainstreamers into the space, and especially into the Aave ecosystem. And if this model works, it could be extended to new projects, and securing new smart contracts and infrastructures that are built on top of Aave, which could be pretty fascinating. But in terms of like what happened recently, so we had the vote itself on the token migration. So I will go a bit more further on that a bit later. I will give the space now to one of our ecosystem projects, Avagachi, which is really fascinating way of combining DeFi and NFTs, collectibles, and kind of like bringing a complete new universe to the DeFi. So definitely, I will now give Dan and Jesse the microphone.
Nice. Hey guys, Coder Dan here from Avagachi. And
Jesse here.
Yeah, got Jesse here as well. So really happy to be here. Excited to say hi to the Aave community, and thank you guys so much for participating, if you have already, in our Daiko and helping Avagachi get to where it is so far. As some of you guys may know, we originally were an Aave ecosystem grant recipient back in July. It's pretty much when we confirmed that, and since then we have successfully created all the marketing material for our Daiko. We have launched our Daiko via the Aragon fundraising template, and raised so far. We have about 10 million DAI locked in the bonding curve in the reserve. And for those of you guys who aren't familiar about how a Daiko works, in our model, unlike typical ICOs where people basically convert their token into the project's token, and then that's kind of the end of the ICO. For us, the DAI is locked in the bonding curve, and we only get it once a month via a tap mechanism, which is currently set at 50,000 DAI a month. So that's basically how our project is funded by the bonding curve that we're using. And I think we might share some screen of that bonding curve as well, Golden Cross, if you want to set that up.
Sure.
And screen share. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey already, and we haven't even launched Avagachi on mainnet. We're getting closer every week. Basically, I guess we can give a status update about how things are going. We're doing a lot of really cool things as far as community transparency and allowing our community to kind of follow along with our development journey. This was a decision we made pretty early on, that we wanted, we didn't want to do the traditional model of development where, you know, you develop your smart contract and you test it and then you audit it and then you deploy it all in one go, and your users never have a chance to interact with it. We're taking full advantage of first of all the Ethereum test nets, especially Coven testnet. We're deploying all of our contracts on there. And the second aspect we're taking advantage of is this idea of the upgradable Ethereum smart contract. And we're using a very new Ethereum standard called the Diamond standard that allows us to basically push new contract upgrades in real time via the blockchain. It's kind of like if you've ever pushed code to a GitHub repo and it automatically just updates live. That's kind of how it is for our development process. So we can push new code, it can go directly to the test net, and people can use it within minutes. It's really, really cool. It's great to get instant feedback from all of our community on how things are going. And the final version of that will be, when it's live on mainnet, all that code will be governed basically by the DAO that is Avagachi DAO. And obviously we won't have that power to be able to upgrade our smart contracts like that. That's something only a DAO can have. So I guess right now we're looking here at the bonding curve, and this is basically where we are right now. We have the current price of Ghost token is 0.718 DAI. And Ghost token is the eco governance token of Avagachi. Basically, it's like the entry ticket that you need to join the Avagachi universe. And I guess we should probably talk briefly about what Avagachi is, for a lot of people who are scratching their heads right now. So just if you want to switch to like a picture of the portals that we have in the slide deck, maybe. We have a cool slide deck, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys have joined our Discord and you've gone through all the missions. Missions are basically our way of gamifying the learning process of Avagachi, because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing in this project that's very new. So we decided early on we wanted to gamify it by leveling up people in our Discord as they complete these different missions. And one of the first missions was go and read the light paper and write a comment in the light paper with a comment that you have, or a question that you have. So that just kind of shows that someone has taken the time to go and read the light paper. And we did the same thing as well with this beautiful slide deck you're looking at. People went and they read the slide deck and then they wrote comments about it. So it's really a great way to engage everyone and make sure that they're keeping up with our development process and our thinking, and they know what they're getting into when they buy an Avagachi or a Ghost token. So Jesse, you want to talk about what an Avagachi is?
Yeah, so basically we came at this from the idea of a value staked NFT, an NFT that could have an escrow contract with specific values inside of it, ERC20 tokens that are hardwired on chain to that specific NFT. And the result was we looked around the space for intuitive coins or intuitive projects that could make use of this in the DeFi space. And Aave A tokens are by far the best choice because you don't have to do anything and you just have them in your wallet and they're accruing in value. And when I first discovered that and Dan introduced me more to the project and the Aave team, I was like, this is amazing. So what you have here is basically in its simplest form, an NFT acting as a wallet or piggy bank where you're putting your Aave A tokens inside, and that's your DeFi collateral stake. And then on top of that, we interact with things like the Chainlink VRF randomizer so that when you open a portal, because everything starts from a gaming perspective with a portal, you're going to open it up and engage that VRF and get 10 Avagachi randomly generated with different A tokens required to stake. So then you end up with maybe an A link or an A die or whatever it may be. And you choose the one you want and you select them and summon that Avagachi by actually staking the correct amount or at least the minimum amount of A tokens into that Avagachi. And that will summon him and make him come over to your wallet, and the other 9 will disappear. So finally, you have the Avagachi you want, and you can train, vote, and interact with it throughout the Web3 experience, because we kind of view it as a Web3 avatar that will hopefully grow with you and grow over time. And of course, if you don't want it anymore, it can be traded on places like OpenSea and just like any other NFT. But there's only going to be 10,000 portals on our launch day, and those will be all that's available to summon. So it's pretty exciting, and it introduces a lot of intuitive gameplay mechanisms to DeFi. We want to make DeFi safe for everybody and very non-intimidating, I guess is one way to put it.
Yeah. I'm looking at the questions here. I guess I don't know how familiar everyone is with the project, but there is a lot of complexity to it, but it's also very simple. And that someone asked, is it the same idea as CryptoKitties? And it's like CryptoKitties, but if you added a lot more gameplay to it, CryptoKitties is really just a simple ERC 721. You can't really do that much with it. With Avagachi, the idea is that the Avagachi is going to be your value staked NFT representative in the Avagachi metaverse. So the metaverse is going to be like, if anyone's ever played CryptoVoxels or Decentraland, we're going to have that as well, except it's going to be pixelated. It'll be a lot simpler. It won't burn your GPU down or your CPU down when you're playing it, which is going to be cool. So your little Avagachi with its collateral stake, its representative value is going to be walking around the metaverse, and it's going to be able to interact with other Avagachis. You'll be able to chat. You'll be able to do like voice chat. You'll also be able to play mini games with it. And this is where the collateral stake comes into play, because you can play mini games with other Avagachis, and you can put your collateral up as like the stake of a game, and whoever wins would get that collateral. Or it could be a lossless version where the collateral is not at stake, but just the interest is at stake. So there's a lot of cool things we can do with the collateral and the interest as far as like mini games. So yeah, it's like CryptoKitties, but so much more. It's going to be really exciting.
And the cool thing is, people, I would just add, can interact with Avagachis to any extent they want. It goes wide and deep. So if you just want to collect, just like you treat a CryptoKitty, you want a collectible rare Avagachi that, you find one that you identify with, that's fine. That's one way to do it. People will just speculate on trading the portals and not even opening the portals, perhaps. But then other people are going to be definitely welcomed and hopefully really want to come in and go deep with this game and play with the yield and these mini games built around DeFi aspects that I think will make it much more interesting in the long run. So a lot of depth there to explore if you want to.
See, I see DeFi dude. How many people are actively working? So our core team is Golden Cross, Jesse. It's me. I'm doing the tech. Golden Cross is kind of product, and then we have Javier, also known as Zbot. He is the one creating all this beautiful art that you see. And then Nick Mudge is our Solidity lead. He's also the creator of the Diamond Standard that I was talking about earlier, and also the co-author of the ERC 998 composable standard. So he really knows NFTs well. He knows Ethereum's smart contracts really well. Super excited to have him, and he's been doing amazing work so far. It's great to see that. And yeah, one question, is it built on layer 1? So this is actually a very interesting question, because obviously it feels like Ethereum's in like a transition point right now, where a lot of these older projects are trying to figure out how they can move on to layer 2, and newer projects like us, we can, from the get-go, we can be on layer 2 without too much migration of our user base. So we are planning to be layer 2 first, and we pretty soon we are going to be announcing at least the first place that we are going to be on layer 2. You know, layer 2 is it's a work in progress. There's new things happening every day. Like optimistic rollups are going to be big very soon. So I think as we go forward, we'll be on multiple different layer 2s. It won't just be on one. The idea will be wherever people want to have their Avagachi, I think we'll try to get it there for them. But starting out, we'll only be on one additional layer 2, and we'll be announcing that pretty soon.
Yeah, and the first use case for that is just about ready to launch, which will be staking Ghost and earning friends. So we're really excited about that, because we want to get people are ready to play Avagachi today, but we're not ready for the launch. But in the meantime, we also want to have fair distribution of our wearables and our Avagachi. So people are going to be able to start staking their Ghost now to get a better chance, improve their odds of getting some exclusive wearables before the game even launches. So that's pretty cool, and that's what's coming out in the next week. We'll have it on mainnet, and then we'll also be prepping that to come out with an L2 solution. So yeah, we'll be on layer 2 for sure in a number of ways.
Yeah, I think I don't know how long you guys want us to go on about this, but we could talk all night about it. But
yeah, probably over time.
Where people can find you guys if they want to participate in your community? And
so definitely head over to twitter.com/Avagachi, and you can find our Discord link also in the Twitter. And once you join the Discord, really go head over to the Start Here channel, and it'll kind of lead you through the process of learning about Avagachi through all the missions. And the thing with the missions is we really hope people will do them, because anyone who does all the missions, when Avagachi launches on mainnet, they will receive a super exclusive agent wearable set. Agent is basically a person who levels up in our Discord and does all the missions. So you're going to get a very exclusive, powerful agent wearable set. That's kind of the reward for learning about Avagachi and joining us on this journey. So I highly recommend you join the Discord and do that. And if you don't like Discord, we're also on Telegram, t.me/Avagachi. You can find us there. We also have like WeChat channels. We have different Telegram localized channels for Korean, for Chinese. So a couple different communities. And yeah, so we're more and more places.
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Really like Avagachi. Really like the like nostalgic vibes it gives off. I was the Tamagotchi queen of the 4th grade playground, so I'm really like excited to be the Avagachi queen as well, and really excited to play around with it. And thank you all. Yes, if anyone has any questions for the Avagachi team or for the Ave team, feel free to post them in the chat, and we'll get to them as we go. And now I'll turn it over to Stani to talk a little bit about governance, migration, and staking.
Thanks, Isa, and that was really good presentation on Avagachi, and it just shows like how like the ecosystem can grow in a compounded way. I mean, and then basically build and Jesse they were building other projects before, and they got a grant from Aave. I think we have like already, I can't remember the correct number of grants, but we have our second round, and I think there's over 30, 35 grants. I might be wrong. David knows the correct number, but like we're giving grants, few grants a week. So there's a lot of grants going out all the time, and we haven't communicated them that much, but I think we will do a recap. So probably there will be like a lot of interesting projects there. But it's an example. Like, I mean, it started as a grant, and now Avagachi basically has 10 million DAI worth of treasury, kind of like a war chest to build things, you know, and it's completely controlled by the governance. So that's actual, like Daiko is probably the fairest launch you can actually have. And it just shows like how much value you can actually build within an ecosystem. And you know, if you are interested in Avagachi and building, probably you can build on top of Avagachi as well. So in the future, and I mean, composability lives in the NFT space as well. Yeah. So in terms of the migration and so forth, so we had the vote, and pretty much roughly 100 million worth of land were for, and 1,500 was against. And what was interesting that there was over 761 participants in terms of addresses, and that was really really good. I mean, the more we can actually get people to participate, the better it is. So we've seen like the good part about now is that we've seen different kinds of governance models, and also voting models, and how the governance is organized. And in some cases, it might go quite quickly, or you have a lot of votes in a short period of time. So in terms of like voting and organizing the votes related to the first polling, signaling, then and the actual on-chain votes, we try to suggest ways where it could be organized in a way that there's enough time to participate, but not just that, but there is some sort of structuring in the voting that people don't have to like vote unexpectedly on a frequently basis, because then you kind of feel that you don't have time to participate in the governance, and quickly the governance becomes kind of like this professional governance, in the sense that you lose the community vibe from there, and that's when things are not. it's probably not the thing that is always good. But it's all of the things that we have now. So let's say we have different kinds of proposals there, initial discussions in the governance.aave.com. And this been amazing that there's so much discussion even before the Aave token has been released, which is now that the voting has finished, the challenge period is finishing. It means that tomorrow morning in PST time, Emilia will in a moment brief about the actual technicalities, but means that you can convert your lend token into the Aave token and basically stake into the safety module. And those different kinds of proposals that we have, we try to organize already polling. There's new tokens to be listed. There's really cool proposals there, and it will be good that some of them already are ripe for polling. But I will quickly give the microphone to Emilio if he's here to give a bit of a brief technical overview on the migration process now.
Hey guys, hey Stani, nice to be here. Yeah, so regarding the migration, as Stani said before, the vote has finished with overwhelming success, because we had like more than 100 million votes. It's almost 10% of the supply voting yes, which for us was a great accomplishment in terms of participation, and also like it shows that like what we thought is shared with the community, and the community shares the feelings that the design of the Avenomics were actually what they suggested and what was discussed during the months where the Aave protocol was growing so fast. In terms of technicalities, what will happen from I think today is going to be around 10 p.m. Central European time. It's going to happen that what is going to happen is that the challenging period is going to finish, which means that the vote is going to be validated and the governance proposal is going to be executed. What the governance proposal will do when will be executed, it will essentially start a countdown on the proposal itself that will allow tomorrow around the same hour, more or less, around 10, I don't have right now the exact block numbers, but this will be communicated as the proposal gets executed. What will happen is that the proposal will be finalized, and with the final execution of the proposal, the Aave token will be initialized. The contracts that execute the migration will be initialized. The staking contract will be initialized. In the meantime, we will make sure that all the UX part related to the migration will be promptly added to our current interface, user interface. And from that point on, as the proposal gets finalized, users will be able to stake, to migrate the land to the new Aave tokens through our UI. Through some of our integrations, I don't have probably Stani has more information on that. There are some integrators that will support the migration from the beginning, and there are also multiple exchanges that will support the migration. Probably not immediately after the migration starts, but they will also communicate all the details regarding the migration on exchange as soon as the proposal is terminated. That's it. What we will try to do is, of course, we will be available during the initial days of the migration, as always, actually, but more we will be as much promptly as possible to answer your question, guys. Of course, pay attention to scamming websites, scamming groups. Only refer to official information. We will publish all the information that you guys will need to perform a safe migration of the token and also staking in the Aave safety module. I guess that's it from a technical perspective. Stani, I don't know if you want to add something.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about this thing is that there will be a slight period of time where the Lend token will have liquid markets, and that's pretty fine. Which basically means Balancer, Uniswap, centralized exchanges. We kind of noticed this will be the case, and also after the migration, there will be liquidity pools then in Uniswap and in the Balancer as well. So I think the centralized exchanges will follow up with the order books quite soon, but it's pretty much up to them to handle their support on migration and communicate. They have everything they need, and for us, what we care mostly is about the decentralized ecosystem. I personally think so, but those centralized parties are interesting in the sense that they bring new people into DeFi, and it's kind of like it's a weird combination in that sense. It's kind of like you have to love banks as well, because they bring people in the crypto space and into the DeFi, but at the same time you kind of want to build something that removes their need. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing about the migration stuff. So of course, we're going to create also a script to migrate the depth positions in the protocol from Lend to Aave. that will take a bit of a time, but not that much. And it probably will require also that the Aave token would be listed in the protocol. But as goes with the Aave token and any other token, after the Aave migration is completed, it's up to the signaling and governance in the sense. So what will happen mostly is that the work that we usually do, especially Alexandra from our risk, is that we will more supply that information to the community, and based on that, the community can make decisions on what to list and what kind of risk parameters should be adjusted. And this allows to create also a ecosystem of professionals that have some sort of risk background or are interested in risk to participate. And our risk framework is very, very interesting in the sense that we definitely like map various risk factors and apply them quite carefully, and it's very unique in that sense. So I definitely recommend anyone that it hasn't read it or introduced to take a look. So I mean, even though like big decisions is made by the governance, it's actually a good thing because there's a lot of professionals involved and experienced people, and it's better to do decisions together than Aave as a team, and that's the whole point of decentralization. End of the day.
Tani, there are a lot of technical questions that I didn't see in the chat.
Yeah, you
if
could
you don't
answer.
mind, I will try to. We will try to answer them.
Yeah.
Okay, there is, for example, this one. Once migrated and deposited for staking, can Aave be used as collateral simultaneously to passive staking? Obviously, positions in current loans will need to be carefully sorted through, but would like to know more about the continued mechanism of Aave as collateral-based staking. So this is an interesting question. At the beginning, what will happen is that we will enable, I mean, the proposal will enable the migration as soon as it's concluded. The first step will be the possibility of migrating the land that are in the user's wallet or in exchanges, in centralized exchanges to Aave, right? So at the beginning, of course, a land, it cannot be migrated to Aave because if it's being used as collateral, because it's being locked by the protocols. If the user has a position open, the a land cannot be moved from the wallet, right? So this is, let's say, phase 0 of the migration. Phase 1 is what Stani mentioned before regarding to the possibility of migrating the debt positions of the users that are using land as collateral as a land. So what will happen is that as soon as the market of Aave is developed enough, but because there is also this aspect that we carefully evaluated, that the migration will, of course, affect the market liquidity of both land of Aave, kind of opposite direction. So at the beginning, the market of Aave will be quite small because the migration will be progressive. And as the market of Aave grows, so the price discovery of Aave goes through, the market of land will proportionally shrink, right? So this is another aspect that we evaluated. So to perform actually the migration from a land to a Aave, we first need to list a Aave, Aave on the protocol to get a Aave, which means that we need a price oracle and we need a market to develop for Aave. And also we need what Stani mentioned before. This we need essentially a migration script that might use flash loan or might be a specific function that we will develop for the protocol, and we will be submitted to evaluation to the community, where a user can essentially call the function and his A-land collateral will automatically be migrated to a Aave. This is step 1. Then there is the last question of the last point of the question. that was asked. It is related to using staked Aave as collateral. This is a different topic, a topic that is worth more research on the community side and our side as well. The reason is that technically speaking, the Aave that will be locked in the safety model will be tokenized. So when you stake, you will receive an staked Aave in exchange, right? So you will deposit Aave, you will get staked Aave. Technically speaking, this staked Aave can be used as collateral, right? So doesn't mean that will be listed on the protocol. It means that technically speaking, has the potential to be used as collateral. Of course, there is another aspect that needs to be evaluated, and that is the fact that the staked Aave will be potentially subjected to slashing, right? The main purpose of the safety module is if something happens on the protocol and the protocol for some reason goes underwater, then we need somehow to recollateralize the protocol. And this is the main function of the safety module, which is somehow makes the whole topic of using staked Aave as collateral a little bit more complicated. But it's for sure something that can be evaluated in the future and be brainstormed together with the community and researched as well on possible ways to use Aave, staked Aave as collateral. One possibility could be, for example, to create, everybody knows that Aave protocol has been built with the possibility of having multiple parallel markets at the same time. One possibility would be, for example, to build a specific market for staked Aave or for an asset class that's similar to staked Aave, where we can also list staked Aave, but there are multiple scenarios that are worth to be evaluated. Do you want to add something, Stani?
Yeah, I mean, interesting scenarios. It really depends on how much the community wants to bear risk in these different things. And the interesting part is that the way that we have built our protocol and also the version 2, which is currently actually audited by 5 different entities, and also a formal verification now, and that part is already finishing, so that we can deploy new markets in the sense, so we can practically silo a bit the risk in the protocol. But it's always important to look at the systemic risk. So like I think Aave lists quite robustly different kinds of assets in the sense that we take bets in community. And I think like as the community will vote on this different assets, and like what could be added and used as a collateral, I think the plan is still probably will be, or the atmosphere that kind of like betting on different kinds of communities. I mean, there's 2 different things. It's different to bet on, let's say, uni as a collateral, let's say, and given the short track record, because of the team is very well known, and the delivery and the positioning, and also comparing, for example, Wi-Fi as a collateral, where the positioning is not the same, but the community has been pretty strong. So the bet on Wi-Fi was very big in the sense, but because the strength of the community was quite important. And I think like each and every asset, I mean, it boils down to the fact as strong as this, as the asset itself is as strong as the community, and the operations, and then the tech, of course. So it's interesting. I mean, end of the day, it's pretty much what the community wants. If there's some assets that are interesting to be listed, there is always a way to open a discussion in the governance.aave.com. And I think even Alexander from our team can review those assets and look at the metrics how they fit to be as a asset, as a collateral, or a lending currency, and so forth. So definitely, like, there's you know, I think the openness is most important thing. And yeah, there's a question about when the version 2 will come up. So the version 2, so well, it's now an audit, and I think those are getting finished. Yeah, I don't want to give any timelines, but I mean, it's from our part, we're kind of like waiting and so forth. So but yeah, now I think the next step is basically to get everyone as much involved into the governance, and then we can focus more on the version 2. So that's our goal.
There are also another couple of interesting questions that maybe is worth answering. One is, what are the risks associated with Balancer being an integral piece of the new tokenomics? Okay, this is an interesting question, questions that I answered already a couple of times, but it's always worth like giving more information on the topic, because it's an important point, I think. The first thing is that in the safety module, like with the staking, there will be two possibilities. The first one is staking plain Aave. So it's actually a very classic way of staking, where you take your asset and you deposit in a smart contract, and you get a tokenized version of it out of it, plus the rewards. The addition of the Balancer share pools will come a little bit later, and the reason is that it simply takes a little bit more in terms of development and research. But from a risk perspective, it's very, very important to highlight that the way Balancer works, essentially, there is no systemic risk. It's not like a protocol like Aave or Compound, where the liquidity is pooled together, but there are actually, each pair or group of currencies on Balancer is actually a separate smart contract. And those smart contracts are very simple. So when we say that we use Balancer under the hood, it doesn't mean that we deposit the assets in some other different protocol. What it means is that the Aave team will take the Balancer smart contracts, customized for the needs of the protocol and the community, and deploy a version of the Balancer contracts that will be modified, audited, and put under the control of the Aave governance. So it's not like the assets in the safety model will be deployed in a completely separate smart contract system where the Aave governance doesn't have any control, but it's actually integral part of the Aave ecosystem. This is very, very important to highlight, because also the governance will have the ownership of the contract itself, and potentially it will be allowed to change, for example, the weights of the assets stored in the protocol, in the pool, or the fee of the pool, and other specific characteristics of the pool itself. So let's say it's not really like depositing Balancer, but more like leveraging Balancer technologies. Yeah, we'll put this way. We will leverage the technology of Balancer to provide a way of staking that also grants market liquidity, essentially, to lend. I hope this answers the question. Then there is some other stuff. Let's go through them quickly, because there are many. Is there a risk that lend price crashes? Well, it's crypto. So we really don't know. If you are worried about, we really hope not, of course, but if you are using lend as collateral in Aave or some other protocol, we highly recommend that you keep, as Mark always says, that you keep a very safe position to avoid any surprise. Then
on that topic, we got an integration today with the DeFi server team. So you can actually have an automation and basically use a flash loan to protect your position and increase your F factor directly by selling a small part of your collateral. So feel free to use this new integration with our partner DeFi seller.
Then there is another one. I know there is some information about this out there, but can we go over the Aave fee structure to incentivize staking in the safety module after the ecosystem reserve incentives are done? This is a very important question because the idea with, as probably many of you guys already know, at the beginning of the version 1, the fee structure of the Aave protocol was based on origination fee on the loans plus flash loan fee. The origination fee went down over time to almost zero. That is right now. The idea behind that is that essentially we want to let the community decide what will be the proper fee structure. From a technical perspective, what can I say is that the Aave protocol version 2 will switch to a more, let's say, standard approach of extracting value that is using what is the so-called reserve factor. So instead of having an origination fee structure that remains, and the concept anyway remains in the contract, but will not simply not be enabled from day one. We will add also the possibility of extracting value through taking essentially a small part of the interest accrued by the liquidity provider. So a bit like other lending protocols do, that they take, for example, 5% or 10% of the total interest accrued. There will be also in Aave version 2 this possibility. The idea is that it will not be enabled by default, will be the governance to decide how and when enable that particular functionality. The cool thing compared to other solution is that like other solution, for example, a compound, they essentially take part of the interest paid by the borrowers, and that interest remains in the contracts, but is actually not part of the funds anymore. It essentially remains there as a reservoir of the underlying asset for future needs. In Aave version 2, instead, what will happen is that this part of the interest will be minted to the governance in the form of A tokens. So every time a borrower performs an action or repays, a governance will receive minted A tokens as essentially as part of the reserve factor. This is really cool because will allow the governance, the Aave ecosystem, to do a lot of interesting stuff. One of those, for example, is that leverage the credit delegation of Aave version 2, so the governance can actually allow entities outside of the governance itself to borrow against the Aave reserve, which is really powerful. Imagine, I'm throwing ideas out there. Imagine the community can build a smart contract that farms using funds delegated by the Aave governance to a smart contract that automatically yield farms and, for example, accrues more value to the reserve or gives more value to the Aave staking. There are many possibilities there, and it's leveraged by the fact that the governance will receive a token, so it will actually become a liquidity provider of the protocol, and also by the unique functionalities of the tokens and the road imbalance, the interest redirection, and all that kind of stuff. Let's see other questions quickly.
I think we have time for one more, probably. Is it so? With the time and everything.
Yeah. Will anyone holding land prior to block be eligible for the Aave token migration? There is no such thing as being eligible. Actually, even if someone, the migration will be perpetual forever. So as long as there are land in the market, the land can be migrated to Aave. So You don't need to have land before a certain block. You can buy land, like if that's your concern, like any land that is circulating in the market after the migration starts can be migrated without any problem to Aave. Ah, yeah, there was already an answer there.
Yeah, and related to that, that's then up to the governance practically to decide when to close that window, because infinite migration might not serve the idea, because you can't then vote with the land, so it becomes irrelevant when there is the Aave token.
Yeah,
So
there is also this last one that is interesting, Stan, if you want to answer. Aave recently obtained the EMI license in the UK. This implies the possibility to create a ramp from fiat straight to Aave and other DeFi assets. How big of an impact towards mass adoption will this have versus other fiat crypto ramps?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what's our goal? I mean, we always know that the protocol itself is self-executing and decentralized in the sense that it's running on the blockchain. But then at the same time, we understand that if you want more people into the ecosystem in a big scale in a short period of time, we basically have to have some sort of a way to connect with the people who are not holding those like stable coins or DeFi yields. I mean, the easiest way, of course, to actually get yields is just to hold A tokens and buy them from somewhere. But this needs to be provided for people who have fiat currencies from payments accounts. So it's going to be a very interesting experiment, and if it works, it might be something that we can scale quite nicely. So, but yeah, I definitely agree that this kind of like an on-ramping is very crucial now for the whole space, and yeah, it's interesting to see like how it will work. I think I think we are okay with the question. If there's something still, you guys can chase us in Discord or Telegram or Twitter, and we can still continue there. But I think yeah, that's all from us, and it's been like very interesting journey from what I have seen and been following closely and participating in Aave for past years, and I think this is still just the beginning. It's just funny to see like how much stuff there's still to build, and kind of like it's going to be very fun, especially now that the governance is going to be an actively and kind of like the part of the whole kind of like Aave ecosystem. So that's pretty cool. So we're super eager to ship more stuff and also like expand the ecosystem. But besides that, I will now leave the closing talk for Isa, and thanks everyone.
Thank you all so much for joining. Really great questions, guys. And if you have any more questions, yeah, we're always around on Twitter, Discord, Telegram, the interwebs, wherever. You'll be able to find us. And yes, looking forward to migration starting soon. And everyone have a good evening or rest of your day. See you later. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.